Hey, everybody. Come on in our home. Join us. Snuggle up. Go ahead, snuggle up, people. Come on in the room. Hey, Daniel, what's going on? Hey.
Hey.
What's going on? Sylvester Woods, I see you. That's my cousin. Hey, how you doing, sir? Cousin from Carolina. How are you? Go ahead, guys, and go ahead and invite your friends. We are doing that right now. Please go to invite. Please go ahead and invite. Please go ahead and invite. Invite as many as you can. This is our first Jay and Live show. No, Jay and Live Live. And we will certainly want to turn the volume down. And please come on in the room, come into our home and join us tonight. Hope you can hear us. And let me make sure I'm doing my proper thing here. All right, here we go. Yeah, so.
Okay, do I put share to invite?
Go ahead here. So I'm helping my wife, but she's got to get, get that together. Yeah, so let me, we got a couple things going here, guys. All right, so go share. And then invite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we got all your friends right there.
All right.
Yeah, so we're getting together, getting our technology together here. Guys, go ahead, please share.
Please share, yes.
Go ahead and continue. And jump in here. Hey, Dr. Lawson, Ron Kelly. Lady Butler, hey, Juanita Campbell. Yeah, hallelujah. Thanks for coming on in. Take these next few minutes. We want to kind of get going, and we really. So go ahead and invite. Thanks for sharing. Say hello to. Hey, Vanessa, Juanita. Hey, what's going on, nephew Nick, my brother?
Hey, Nick.
Preston Smith is here. Thanks for coming, bro. You on?
Oh, my buttons still up?
Yeah. We're still working this technology, guys,
I'm a little technically challenged.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm inviting friends as well, guys. And so if you could go ahead and jump in here and hey, Alyssa, I see you. I see Alyssa Rankin. I see you.
So what screen am I supposed to be looking at? This one?
Or she's asking. Yes, this is the screen thing. Tania, hey, Tania. Evangelist Calhoun, greetings and blessings to you as well, Vanessa. Long time no see, Vanessa. Vanessa Washington. I know who you are. So please go on and invite. I'm still inviting. Please do that. Please do that. You can go ahead and invite individuals as well. Thank you so much. And we're doing that right now. We want to make sure everybody is able to, as much as possible, to participate in our first live show. So please be patient.
Oh, it's still too loud. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we want to make sure that we get as many as we can in. Thanks for inviting. Go ahead and do that. We're doing our due diligence. For those of you who are in the, I don't know if, let me know how many of you guys are actually snowed in. Let us know. How many of you are actually snowed in? I can't see your comments right now, but please. Definitely, you want to let us know if you're snowed in. I know we are. I found out something today about myself that I forgot about, it quickly came back to my memory, and maybe I'll share that. So when I tell you, I'll put it this way: I am not as young as I used to be. Certain things scream out. They haven't screamed in a while. So, but anyway, I'm alive. I'm
Amen.
at least about
That's what's important.
I'm well, and so
Alive and well.
yeah. Thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for jumping in. Please, thanks for sharing, guys. We're still inviting. I'm still actually inviting people on my friend list who want to be a part, and you told me to remind and all that good things, all those good things, and so. And we're going to kind of let you into our world, guys. It's been those of you who may not know, when you come on Facebook, everybody wants to post, all of the nice stuff, but sometimes there are things. Hey, Erica, I see you. And thanks for coming on, guys. Please be patient with us for a moment. You can still invite your people. You can do that. So we're working on this technology, guys. We're going to get it all done. And I appreciate it. We're just trying to get everybody in here. Please go ahead and continue to share. Thanks for coming on. Continue to share with your family, friends, and we're not strangers. We love meeting new people as well. So don't be afraid to invite people who may not know us. But hopefully, what we have to give will be a blessing in your hearing. And certainly, we want you to ask questions, hopefully, and as we're talking and whatnot, and just share some things. You want to get some water, baby? You want to get some water?
I think so.
You sure?
We don't have no random bottles up here.
No.
We usually have some.
No, they're not random bottles.
We have some random bottles of water.
Yeah, when I'm up here working sometimes, but not today. Not today.
Oh, it's a little bit in that jar.
You're crazy. I told you gonna get the real us. Just random, like real us.
Regular people.
Yeah. All right, guys. Somebody let me know. Let me just a second here. All right. So, all right, guys. So we are into today is February the 8th, 2018, and we are. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Jay, and this is my wife.
I'm La.
And she's La, and it's actually Jason and Salah, our full name. And so, but this is the JLI Live broadcast, a live show, and I don't want to call it a show, but it's a time that you get an opportunity to spend time. We're going to spend time with you, and hopefully you spend time with us. All right, let me see where we are now. I couldn't get reception. Somebody tell me how the reception is going. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Kim.
All right, Antoine Todd, Katrina, Lynette. Hey, Sister Joyce, First Lady Sims. I see you.
Hey, First Lady Sims.
And I want to make sure that I'm getting. Somebody shoot me a comment. Let me know that you guys can hear. Nothing's that important. Sweep the snow white. Hey, my cousin April's on here. Fendrick.
Hey, April.
Campbell. Alyssa, I see you now. Thank you. Hey, Reese, Virginia Sims. All right, I see you. Good, sharp reception. Okay, good. That's good. I like good and sharp. Hopefully you can hear. Okay, good, Katrina. So, Coming in clear. All right, good. Thank you, Lady Joyce.
Good.
And so again, I am Jay, and this is my wife, Salah, Jason and Salah. And we just want to come on. This is our first Jay and Lai broadcast, Jay and Lai Live. And thank you for coming on. Please, if you like what's going on, feel free to jump in and share, invite. And as we go, if we have questions, we'll try to stop and answer questions if we can. But we want to really introduce ourselves. I'm Jason. And this is Salah. And I think I believe in ladies first, so I want to go ahead and allow her to introduce herself and maybe tell a little bit of her background, and then I'll share a little bit about myself, and we'll move forward in how we actually met, guys. There's some great things. So if you have any questions, hey Teresa, hey Ron Williams, I see you. Go ahead and jump in. Go ahead, honey. And
okay, were we going to show the video first, or?
Okay, we can show the video here, bro.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm trying to help her.
That's that technical.
Yeah, the video, the video of our live.
Of the pictures and stuff.
Oh yeah, you guys, you can check out the video. It's on the Facebook page right now. The videos of all of our pictures, and even when we were like skinny, like Ethiopians, and real skinny, and back in the 90s.
Yes.
So hey, to Cheryl Liddell and Honey Rickman. But go ahead, share, please. Share about yourself.
Okay. Just to share a little bit about me. My name is Salah Smith, which most of you may know. They call me, growing up, my nickname was Lala.
Mm-hmm.
So I was Lala all the way up, and I'm still Lala sometimes when I go home and visit my family. I'm Lala, so that's my nickname.
Right.
I am, which I don't mind telling my age, I am 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Grateful for life, grateful for health, grateful for strength.
Hey, sure.
Let's see, I've been pretty much a Christian the majority of my life. I was raised in the church. Yeah, I was one of them church girls. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I was one of those church girls. Also, let's see, what else? I attend Persian High School. I was from the East Side. Yes,
Ooh.
East Side all day.
Yikes.
Raised on the East Side. Most people was like, no, not you. You were not from the East Side. So just to tell you a little funny story, when I was in cosmetology school, my teacher, my instructor was asking the class, what side of town they were from, because we were talking about how different hairstyles on the West Side girls will wear their hair differently from the girls on the East Side. So, my instructor got to me, and so he was just really trying to figure me out, because I was pretty much quiet, always been kind of quiet and kind of shy, and kind of to myself. And so when he got to me, he was like, I already know what side of town you're from. You have to be from the West Side.
Oh, wow.
Because the West Side, I guess the West Side had a reputation where they were kind of more laid back, or I don't know, a little, maybe a little bit more sophisticated or something. I don't know. But so, he went on talking like, yeah, I know you're from the West Side, and everything. And I said, well, no, sir. I said, I'm from the East Side. And his face, expression on his face told it all. Right. He was like, I would have never thought you were from the East Side. He was like, the ghetto girls from the East Side.
That's what they said.
I was like, well, you know what? You shouldn't stereotype people.
Right.
You shouldn't stereotype people.
Right.
But yes, I'm from the East Side. I graduated from Persian High School. Then I attended Owens College in Toledo, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And then I moved back. Well, after I graduated from high school, I went straight to college. Mm-hmm. And then I moved back to Detroit. I wasn't in college long because, that's a whole nother story within itself. But I ended up having to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after I came back home, I met Jason. So I'll leave it there.
She's just going to leave it right there. Wow.
Yeah.
So you should have told about your well, she had an amazing mom.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
She fell for the best right.
My mother was such a wonderful, powerful woman of God. I was raised by a single parent, which was my mom. And I have an older brother and an older sister. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. And all of them live out of state. So, it's just, I'm here in Detroit. I have cousins and an aunt that lived here that's like a mom to me as well. Mm-hmm. But my mom was such a powerful, awesome prayer warrior. She was just a strong woman of God. And truly. I so thank God for her for how she raised me and how she always kept a standard. Mm-hmm. A standard. Yeah. And some of those great qualities that she had, I noticed that older that I am, the more I see those qualities. And I've always wanted to be like my mother. I admired her prayer life. I admired her relationship with God. And I would just be like, wow, one day, Lord, I don't even think I could even fit my foot in half of her shoes, but she went through many things. But in the midst of her going through the things that she went through, she always stayed faithful to God and steadfast no matter what. Yeah. Her testimony never changed. Yeah. And I thank God for those qualities, because when I look back and when I'm having my struggle days and when I'm having my issues and stuff that I might be going through, I can look back on her life and I can say, my mom was a great example before me as a strong woman of God. Yeah. Yeah. And I can stand. Yeah. Awesome.
And I mean, and she was, her mom was very amazing. Her mother's name was Gussie Mae Brown. You from
Gussie
the South.
Mae Brown.
You from the South when your middle name is, first name was Gussie, and your middle name is spelled M-A-E. It's either for the men is Lee, something Lee, or for the ladies it's something May. So it's something. But she was you talking about an awesome woman of God. Yes. She went home to be with the Lord. I believe it was 2004.
Yes.
2004, and we got to share that story later on. How she transitioned is probably one of the most amazing stories you ever want to hear.
Powerful.
How she actually transitioned. But we want to introduce ourselves to you guys, Jay and Lion. Listen, I grew up a church boy. My mom and dad raised me in church. Started out, as Lady Simmons on here, started at a church called Holy Ghost Temple. And then we moved on to, get the name of the next church, but then we went to Full Gospel Tabernacle. And then we have a long church history. I am 43 years old. Mm-hmm. I am 43 years old. So, young buck when it got, So,
he had to have it.
So, that's kind of how that happened. But it's,
wait till you hear the story.
Yeah. So, again, born May 22nd, 1974. That is my birthday. It's a beautiful day, and every day after that has been wonderful. Now it's wonderful that the Lord has made it. I'm not saying that we always had good times. I had good times going on in my life every day. But again, I was born to I'm a son of a preacher, and also a son of an evangelist. My mother, here in Detroit, she was a missionary here in Detroit, and after my father passed. In 2011, but actually she moved. Her and my dad moved to Georgia in 2005, and they wanted to get away from this what we're dealing with right now. This snow is crazy, and so we've been snowing pretty much all day. We have not left the house. In fact, I was out there last night going to Kroger's and not really in fear, but you can see fear all over the place. People just scrambling for this and scrambling for that. And I'm thinking, like, guys, I'm just trying to make sure I get, everything that needs, because I don't feel like going out the next day. But people were literally running over each other like it was like Christmas Eve or something, trying to get food. But anyway, And so my parents, they moved to Georgia in 2005. I believe my dad, he had a stroke in 2009. Really was totally unexpected, had a stroke. And so I remember flying down, seeing about him, and he was definitely different, but he was still Dad, and Dad was, to me, an amazing guy. He stuck to his guns. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to worry about whether what he was. He let you know what he was. There was no really gray areas. My dad lived what he preached. He certainly did, and in times that I always end up getting in trouble. To be honest with you, even as a kid, I always end up getting in trouble because of my mouth. That was my biggest problem as a kid growing up. Because I was always defending myself to the point I should have been a lawyer, but not even close, not even remotely close. But I love my dad. My mom had the meat glove ministry. And my dad was like real strong and stern, but still loved him. And listen, I would not be the man that I am today without my dad, being kind of having an iron arm, so to speak. I didn't always think things were fair, but at the end of the day, I look back at my life now and I really see, the benefits that I have reaped because of his structure. I am my dad totally had 5 kids. With my mom, he had the 2 of us, which is my brother, Preston Smith, who is my younger brother. And now, of course, I'm the oldest between the 2, my mom and dad. And then my dad was married previously, and we don't consider ourselves steps or halves. We have 3 beautiful siblings. My older sister is Venus. The middle baby girl is Trudy. And the younger of the 3, who is actually the oldest of all the brothers, is Anthony. So Anthony Smith is our older brother, and they're all, except for 1 now, in Carolina. I think Trudy is still in Maryland now. She's in Maryland. But at one time, they were all in Carolina. And I'm assuming that the weather there is probably a lot better.
Oh, definitely.
than ours. I grew up in a home where we were definitely, musically inclined. I came up in a huge family. There's my huge family there. We really headquartered out of Georgia. And the Moss family is a real huge family, full of musicians, full of singers, full of preachers. And so one of the things that I used to hate, believe it or not, as a kid, even though I was gifted in music, I used to hate when we come down for some vacation, if somebody died and we went for a funeral for whatever reason, after every event, whether it was sad or a happy occasion, as a family, they always had to get together and sing. Well, the problem with that is that when that happens, I have to play all the time instead of just sitting back and enjoying. So, Jason, would you do this? And Jason, would you play this? And Jason is like, give me a break already. But that's kind of the con of being gifted in music. But again, I went to school at Henry Ford High School, believe it or not, on the west side of Detroit. And west side, west side, brown and gold. And I went to college at the Wright Institute of Technology. My major, believe it or not, was computer information systems. CIS, we call it. So we were doing programming COBOL and Lotus and those type of things. I came home eventually after some time dealing with, in college, man, you have to really watch who you stay with. I had some rough roommates, a whole lot of weed smoking and all the kind of things. And then I didn't always do everything right when I was in college, guys. I really didn't. I was telling somebody I didn't do everything right in college at all. In fact, you have to pray for your kids when you go to college, because I was a person that I got away from home. I was in college. I was just trying to find what I can get into. And I remember one particular situation where I wanted to see I wanted to be more social, trying to fit in, And so I went to one particular weekend, and they was telling me all these clubs was going on. And in fact, I was talking to my pastor. He was telling me he knew exactly the street. He even named the street. It was crazy. And Ohio said, "Yep, that whole street, nothing but clubs." And so I go there, and I went to one particular club, and I just thought I was just fitting in, you know, with everybody else. And you know how, for those of you, don't try to act like you don't know what that is, a club. But anyway, so I walked up to inside of the, you know, the front door, and the bouncer or the security was in the front. You know, they got to frisk everybody, and it was crazy because when I walked up to this gentleman, he didn't say this to anybody else as far as I know. When I walked up to this gentleman that was supposed to be security of the bouncer, he's like, "Man, you don't even belong here." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? You know, man, you don't belong. You know you don't belong here. What are you doing here?" And I'm thinking like, you mean to tell me I am such a marked man to the point where, I mean, you know, that you saw like this, like you just know, what was there something going across my head? I don't know what was going on, but it was just one of those things. And hey, good to see you, Sean. So it was just one of those things where I was just a marked man. I tried to fit in. I mean, I almost got in trouble one time when we were just hanging out. I was at one particular place, and we was hanging out with, I think it was a couple other young ladies, another gentleman that was staying with us in an apartment. I stayed with another roommate, and then two other people came. And I remember going into this particular club, and the young lady said, "Hey, hold my purse for me." And me trying to be a nice gentleman, hey, I held a purse and waiting. I got my coat on, ready to go because I'm in the wrong place. I'm just uncomfortable. So she said, "Okay, thank you." I get in the car. I get ready to drive back to campus. And she pulls out this like large goblet that she stole from the bar. I'm like, this is just so wrong, you know, on so many levels. I'm saying I'm actually holding, you know, I could have been caught with a purse with stolen merchandise, you know, things like that. You know, beer getting spilled in the car, just all kind of foolishness that was just going on. And you know, I'm there to get an education, but you know, you're trying to fit in, and so I didn't know anybody. Here I am. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I didn't go to Ohio State, guys. I went to the Wright Institute of Technology. So anyway, as I got out of college and came back home in 93.
Yep, 93.
1993.
That was the year.
And I was at a church called Full Gospel Tabernacle at the time, and we were in concert.
Wait, before we go into that.
Oh, yeah. So get my timeline together, y'all.
Now, before we go into that, I just wanted to back up a little bit and to talk about my name. Most people, when they I tell them my name, you know, I tell them my name is Salah. The first thing they ask me is, where did that come from? I mean, like, what did that mean? You know, what do your name mean? Where did it come from? Mm-hmm. I know most of you probably never knew, but the first 5 years of my life, I was raised as a Muslim. Mm-hmm. My dad is a Muslim, so my father named me. Salah is a name derived from Islam. Mm-hmm. So, and what it means is to gather for prayer.
Interesting.
That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So, my father didn't, he didn't really know why or understand probably why he was naming me Salah. And he may have, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it has a great meaning. It has a great meaning. Mm-hmm. And also my dad was a singer. My father, as far as my singing, that's where I got it from. My dad was a secular artist. Mm-hmm. I know most of you don't know. He wrote the song that Patti LaBelle does.
Patti LaBelle?
Yes. If only you knew how much I really do love you.
Yeah.
My dad is the original writer of that song.
Right.
And he always share, he would share with me, he would say, I wrote that song for your mom. Mm-hmm. I wrote that song for your mom because I loved her so much, and so I just wanted to share that little bit, about me. I've been singing all of my life, mostly. Mm-hmm. And it comes from, my dad.
Yeah. Now her her dad was really could hold a tune. Your dad is like what, 70?
My dad is 74.
Yeah.
He's 74.
Yeah, and he really can hold a tune. And y'all keep him in prayer, really do. For those of you who know how to pray, really keep him in prayer.
Yes, please.
His name is Floyd Strong, like strong. So you want to make sure you keep him in prayer that the Lord will certainly save him. And so we met, and it's funny, you know. So we met. I should put it this way: we had a concert, and you know the typical choir concert at the church, and I'm playing keyboard, and I remember exactly what I was wearing. It was crazy. I was wearing black slacks, black shirt, and I've had this multicolored vest on for the concert. You know.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a multicolored vest on, had like purple, yellow, teal, turquoise. Just, you know, we thought we were just that stuff, you know, back then. It's just like the early 90s. So we just thought we was just sharp, you know what I'm saying? It was the John P. Key era, you know, so John P. Key was doing this thing. So everybody trying to do everything John P. Key. I forget who else might have been out then, you know. We still had the top.
Was Kurt Franklin? It was John P.
No.
Kurt
was just coming on.
Yeah.
But John P. Key, I mean, the Thompson Community Singers were still rocking and rolling.
Yes. Milton Bronson.
So we had all those, you know, groups, and all those concerts would go to Cobo Hall. For those of you who are old enough to know, you know, Cobo Arena was like, you know, a place to go when a big concert would come. And so anyway, so we were in this concert, and we had a great concert, and I saw her, but for whatever reason, I assumed that she was from Canada, because a friend of mine who actually plays sax, her name is Veronica Cobb. I don't know where she is, or if she's around, and she sees this later on. Veronica Cobb, we call her Lynn, because the middle name is Lynn.
Yeah.
And she came with a few other young ladies, and so I was in there with her.
It's like 6 of us.
Yeah, y'all. They was looking like they was in the car looking like clowns on the circus.
Look, we traveled.
Look.
Back then, we traveled in a crowd. We were never just by ourselves. It was at least 4 to 6 of us together when we would go out.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, they came deep. I'll say that they definitely came. They came deep, and it was hilarious. Hey, right, multicolor. Hey, how y'all doing? So yeah, and so. You know, I thought she's from Canada. So after the concert was over, Lynn said, "Hey, I want you to meet my friends and my sisters or whatever." And so, you know, I'm probably 6'1" at that point too, and 6'1".
Well, wait.
See, this is going on show. Y'all get ready. This is what's gonna happen. So.
Wait, you know, we remember, you know, the details.
Women are more detailed. I will say that. So I digress. Certainly.
So this is what really happened.
Y'all listen.
So. Jason, after the concert was over, he stepped out on the porch of the church at full gospel. And my friend Lynn knew Jason very well. Apparently they were good friends, whatever. So Lynn was like, "Hey, Jay, come to the car," you know, waved him over. I was sitting in the passenger seat, and Jason came to the car, and he peeked in, you know, like he was just cool as a fan, just like he was just all that in a bag of chips. He did.
Right.
So, you know, I'm sitting in the passenger seat or whatever, and I just kind of looked over at him, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Salah." I introduced myself to him, which I was so surprised because I didn't do that. You know, but I did, you know, and, you know, he kind of just was like, "Hey, I'm Jason," you know. Nothing special, nothing. It was just like that. So,
Salah got the record. She got the record. Go ahead. Everybody think about it. Go ahead, tell the story.
So after that was on a Saturday night. So after the concert and everything, my church at the time, I went to a church called Temple of Deliverance. That's the church that I grew up in. We took our young people to see John P. Key. He was in concert that Sunday. So, you know, we got our young people, and we took them to see John P. Key. And when I walked in, I saw Jason. And he was sitting like maybe 5 or 6 rows in front of me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's that guy I met last night.
Yep.
So Jason, I think when he turned around, I waved at him, just to be nice and stuff. And he never waved back.
Just to be nice.
Yep, it was just to be nice. But
go ahead. Y'all go ahead and believe that.
Wait.
Y'all go ahead and believe that.
No.
Go ahead.
But he didn't wave back. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, it's all good. So another week went by.
What's going on, Mark?
And I was invited to a birthday dinner by my same friend, Lynn. Me and her hung out real tight. We were always together. So she invited me to a birthday party. Get there, walk in, and guess who's there? Mr. Jason.
The man.
So, I walk in, I sit down, and everything. And so me and Jason, we did not interact at this party. We did not say anything to each other, but we sat directly across from each other at the table. And yeah, I was checking him out. I was checking him out. I was like, oh.
Don't agree with her, Lady Joyce. Do not agree with her. She was not just trying to be nice.
Yes.
Don't agree with her. Don't.
I was just trying to be nice. But so I was admiring him. I thought, he was handsome. I was like, oh, he's handsome. He got nice eyes, and so I was, but still.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm having a silly moment.
Oh.
You said nice eyes, and I just couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Oh, okay.
Nobody told me that before until just now, like literally. But anyway.
Oh, I always told you I loved your eyes.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway. So we at the birthday party and never said anything. I'm just kind of, admiring him or whatever. And so, so we leave the birthday party, having, didn't talk to him, no contact, no nothing, Far as I was concerned, he was just a dude I met, was nothing to it.
Hold on, what she didn't know though, she did see this, but she didn't know I was nervous around her, and that's probably why I didn't talk to her. I was literally, I was like, but no, you knew this because I'm going to tell you why. Remember, because I actually, this was somebody's birthday, and I had a piece of cake, and I was trying to eat it, and I literally dropped it on myself, in front of her, embarrassing.
I never saw that.
Remember, we talked about it. She forgets stuff now.
No, I never noticed that.
It fell out of my fork. Remember, it fell out of my fork. We talked about it for years ago, for a long time.
Well, I must have, was too busy looking into your eyes.
Oh, my Lord.
And
cut the camera!
I just
cut the camera.
Didn't see that part.
Cut the camera. JLI Live is over. Good night, everybody. Stay warm. Fire the fireplace. But yeah, so we kind of left, and I'm gonna let you connect this together.
Okay.
So we did leave the party, and not a lot of communication, if any, at all. Okay.
Yeah. None. Oh, okay. So no communication.
She's a detailed one. I have to concede. Go ahead.
Thank you. So no communication. So my friend was like, do you remember the guy that you met at the party, at the birthday party? And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember. Just like his name was Jason. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah. So she was like, you want to know, can he have your number? I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I was like, how old is he?
Uh-oh.
And then she told me, I was like, nope. He can't have my number. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. I said, nope. Been there, done that. I was not going to date any guys that were younger than me. It was etched in stone in my head. I was like, that's it. No. So in the middle of me going through all of this, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. I changed my mind. In the mid of conversation, I was getting out of the car, and it was like, well, you know what? It's nothing wrong with having a friend. I was like, we could be friends. It ain't like, we got to go out and date or nothing like that. We could just be friends, So I was like, yeah, give him my number. That's cool. You know, that's cool. So.
Stop it, Charlotte. Get out of here.
Wait, what happened?
No, she's going to set it straight. So you were just a dude. She meant you two were adorable. Yeah. Okay.
So Jason called me on the phone that night.
I did.
Yes,
I have to confess,
he did.
I did call that night. Go ahead, carry on.
He called me that night, and I was so impressed by you. I was so impressed by this man right here. Well, he wasn't he was a man, but
no,
he was a young man.
Y'all, listen, let me tell y'all something. I was a boy. I'll get to that in a minute. I was a boy.
Well, I was a girl too.
B-O-Y, period. You know.
But
God bless you for the compliment.
But I will say honestly, he was younger than me by 2 years, but his maturity was really impressed me, because I'm telling you, one thing about me, even when I was younger.
I see you. Go ahead.
What happened?
Don't worry about it. Just keep talking.
Oh, even when I was younger, I was always a little bit more mature than my age. I don't, I just was. Yeah. I was just a little bit more mature.
I'll give you that.
So the younger guys that I tried to date, they irritated me. They were just like, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. So, I had that in the back of my mind when when Jason called me, like, okay, this dude gonna be young, acting, young, talking. I don't have time. But when I tell you, we got on the phone and he was so mature, his head was on right. It was just something about him that really drew me. I was intrigued. I was totally intrigued. Yeah. And that's the truth.
We're going to cut the camera. We got to cut the camera. We can't be talking like this on the live. You got to curve this. Do something.
It's the truth.
But listen though, guys. I mean, now you have to understand. We were quite young still. I mean, we're quite young. We're talking. I was 19. Yeah. 19 years old.
Yeah.
And my wife, my girlfriend at the time, the one I was dating, was 21 years old. So I'm 19 years old. I went to college when I was 17 and didn't go all the way through. And I took some more schooling. And I didn't go all the way through in Ohio, and I took some more schooling here in Michigan. Our journey is long. So guys, just hang with us. There'll be show after show, live at the lab. But we'll share a lot of things with married couples, singles. All of you are invited, because there'll be something on here, I guarantee you, that you can take away from Jay and Live, and it'll be a blessing to you. I was very young, 19 years old. As a matter of fact, my dad, he had asked me, even I remember him asking me in the kitchen, I said, man, I told Dad, I said, man, I think I want to marry her. And
what? You told Dad that?
Yeah, I told Dad that in the kitchen. So I was like,
you never told
now
me.
Imagine now, this was, when I said it, it was 1994. And near the end of 94, and I said, I think I want to marry her. And my dad, he asked me, he said, can you wait out a year or so? And I'm like, Dad, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can. And this is the point I'm trying to make, guys. Here's a real moment. You gotta know yourself. Like, I knew me. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think I can do that. To the point where I was like, okay, it's gonna be something worse than the West Coast California forest fires if I don't marry her. I knew that she was the one for me. Calm down a lot, but it's reality, guys. You gotta, I know me. So I said, Dad, I'm trying to tell him, young man to older man, Pops, that ain't 96 ain't gonna work for me. It was 94. He asked me to wait till 96 to kind of right, Sabrina, burn, baby, burn. Right. And that's what was, and that's what was going, and that's what was happening. I mean, I mean, you know, we dated, you know, and we would go out and burn not, literally like burn not. We out here now. So it's like that, you know, because, you know, my relationship with God back then was not what it is now. Mm-hmm. Let me say that. It was not, but I still was cognizant enough and really conscious enough through you know, the Spirit of God to say, hey, I don't want to listen. I know my flesh. And if I do not make this decision sooner than later, then I'm going to create another problem by sinning before time for marriage. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's just real talk. And so
real talk.
Now my dad, he didn't really push hard. He asked for it because he wanted me to establish some things. And I get it. You know, that's what a father wants. He wants to see his children, and a good father wants to see his children, you know, more established and making sure everything is 100, you know. And so I said, no, Dad, I don't think I can do this. Now, this was like the spring or summer of 94.
Yeah.
All right. So my wife's, the church that she grew up in as a kid, growing up into teenage years, adolescence, teenage, and even through her first years in college, this has been her church for 17 years. Mm-hmm. And here I am now. I'm attending the church. I'm a musician there. I'm helping them out with service and whatnot, choir, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And so I had a conversation with the pastor there. I said, hey, you know, I think I want to marry Celaya. So, you know, he was really giddy. Yeah, you know, he was really giddy. And mm-hmm. so, wait on the Lord, Vanessa. You really have to wait on the Lord. And yes, please. And I'll catch up to that. Go ahead.
So, you know, Jason was talking about.
Go ahead, guys. And by the way, before you go, continue to share and invite if you can. Appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you all so much.
Thanks for being part.
Jason was talking about the part about, you know, sharing with his dad, and his dad wanting him to wait, you know, because we were young.
Yeah.
We were young.
19, 21.
And most of you already know, if you can relate, when you're young and when you grow up in the church, you know, it's like you need to get married. You know, if your flesh is burning, you're on fire, you know, you can't control it. That, you know, you know, they say you need to get married. Whether you're ready to get married or not, you still do it.
Not only do they say, but the Bible.
The Bible
totally goes to that point. So
the Bible goes to that point. So it's better to marry than to burn.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
And both of us were virgins.
Mm-hmm.
We were virgins.
Yep.
We you know, and that was something that I, you know, personally, that was my vow to the Lord. Mm-hmm. You know, that I wanted to wait until I got married, mm-hmm. you know, before, you know, I had mm-hmm. sex. Mm-hmm. And I wanted a husband that was a virgin as well. Mm-hmm. That was my request to God. Mm-hmm. And God granted me that. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. he granted me that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we were very young. And even though we didn't know anything about mm-hmm. marriage,
right.
We didn't know a lot about marriage, even though we were raised in the church.
Well, actually, we knew nothing.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I mean, we knew nothing.
We really didn't know anything.
I mean, we had examples, but you know, until you actually in it, you know, you never really know. In my opinion, this is Jason talking, of course.
Yeah.
You know.
So okay, I'm getting ahead. Go ahead.
No, I don't know where we are.
No, you were talking about my pastor.
So right, so and that was, and let me say this with the virgin piece. We were virgins, but that does not mean I was not having a problem. You know, you talking about hot and bothered as someone used the term. Because, I mean, as you can clearly see, she's beautiful. And so nothing has changed in almost 23 years of marriage. And so the struggle was real. My brothers that are listening to me by way of Facebook Live today, the struggle was real. Thanks, guys, for those of you coming on. This is the JLI live broadcast, Facebook Live. Thanks for jumping on. Go ahead and invite and share. And so I asked the pastor that, the church that she grew in, right, please, baby, please, baby. Right, exactly. And so I asked the pastor, I said, I want to propose, and I want to plan something for her. I want to plan a proposal. Young guy, 19 years old. I had went, and for those of you who live in the Detroit area, this may be funny to you, but you know what I'm saying. For those of you who are in the Detroit area, there's a set of jewelry stores that are located on Greenfield. And there are a number of them, but one of them in particular is called the Greenfield Plaza. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all brothers know about the Greenfield Plaza, and some of y'all sisters do too. Whether you're getting a ring or a necklace or whatever, back when I was in school, we were talking about one of our sisters in church. We were talking about the herringbone chains and different jewelries, and that everybody would go to Greenfield Plaza and pick up some jewelry. And so I went and got my wife's ring.
Very nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that ring on her finger now because it'd be an insult.
No.
Like literally, back then it was cool.
It was absolutely.
But the standard has been somewhat raised. Now, don't by me saying it, guys, don't feel pressure. Men who want to wed and you're looking for a young lady, it really is.
It's really from the heart. It's not about the size of the ring or anything like that. It's really about the quality and the love for each other. That's what it's truly about. Truly the point,
and that's real. That's real, and that's real talk, guys. So we want to help you guys in the areas, especially the singles, to understand that you have to do things according to the grace that God has given you. And listen, I one thing I do know, love covers a lot of things. All right, covers a lot of things.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the point where I was having a conversation with the pastor, and I set up this proposal. And so one particular Sunday morning, it was October the 9th, 1994. It was either the 9th or the 10th, one of those days. Either October the 9th or the 10th. And I had set it up, with the pastor to, at the end of service, I was going to ask my wife's or my girlfriend's mother for her hand in marriage. Again, she's been raised in a single home. And so I asked, so I got up, nervous, but still, composed, still composed. I had on a purple suit.
The famous purple
suit, white shirt. And I think the tie was mixed purple, some gold or something others. And I just thought I was that deal, and I put on I had some old school Stacey Adams. I was dressed like my granddad. My granddad was like a Stacey Adams king. That's all he wore, pretty much Stacey Adams, those type of shoes. And so, but anyway, right, it's purple. So I was looking like Barney up in that piece, But anyway, so I got up and the pastor gave me the microphone and I began to, say all my little lines or whatever. And purple suit. And I turned to her mother, which was she was sitting on the I call the mother's bench, and I asked her mother for her hand in marriage, and she nodded and agreed. And so then I turned to my right, which was my wife. By that time, my wife was the church was going bananas, and my wife was in tears, I guess, somewhat. She had her hand over her mouth, tears, and I remember those brown frame glasses she had on, and her hair was long and whatever. She keeps it probably still long, but she keeps it in the hotel.
Yep, I wore a bun back then.
Yeah, but it was long then. You had to let it out, and she had on a black and white dress. Like every church girl probably has something black and white.
Oh, definitely.
Probably. And I asked, and so she came up with her cousin Stacy. I remember Stacy and Charity and a few other members that were there. She came up to the front, and so, the whole one knee thing and whatever, and got the ring out, and I asked for her hand in marriage. And some would say I was nervous or whatever. They thought I was nervous. I don't, I was nervous, but I think I kept it together pretty well.
It was so special.
Yeah.
It was so special. So. And I wanted to add, at the time I was working at Oakland Mall at Mary Ann Plus.
Mary Ann Plus. Who knows about? How many ladies know about Mary Ann Plus? Like, and wait a minute. Here's the other one. Winkleman's.
Oh yeah, Winkleman's.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was working at Mary Ann Plus, and they had me working on Sundays a lot. So this particular Sunday, I did not have a clue that Jason had planned on proposing to me or anything. But I was scheduled to work that particular Sunday. And when I got up, I was like, I need to be at church today. I just kept feeling that in my spirit, in my heart. I was like, I need to be at church today. I'm going to call off work. And so I ended up calling off work that particular Sunday, not knowing that Jason had planned this proposal. Man, I was like, oh my goodness. If that wasn't God, you know, it was like, that just, to me, was like, you know, God was saying, yes, this is about to happen, you know, and you need to be there. Right.
And so it just all worked out. I was not disappointed. I didn't know what her plans were because, you know, at that point, I was leaving my parents' house. We stayed on the west side of Detroit, and a street called Lazar. Some people call it Lasher, but it's actually Lazar, Lahser, over at 20081. No, that's the address, 20081 Lazar. The zip code was 48219. That was my old house there. Someone else is there now. And so I was leaving there, going to church on the east side, and following this young lady, you know. I was in love. So we proposed, and so we only planned. Watch this. We didn't plan for a year. We planned for 8 months.
Yeah.
So we planned for 8 months, and it was a sprint to the finish. You know, but we were blessed. You know, moving forward, kind of moving quickly here, is we were blessed to have a lot of support.
Yes,
a lot of family. And let me tell you something about her mother, Gussie Mae Brown. God rest her soul. But when I tell you that woman could cook, between her and her sister, who is still living now, Aunt Lacey Mitchell. If you ever see this, I want some dressing. I don't care if it's not vegan. Oh, hallelujah! Yeah. But anyway, so I haven't had her cooking in quite some time. Yes. But anyway. So the food was laid out. My parents, because you know it was that everybody came together. I mean, even for the bridal showers, there was one lady. I forget her name was Miss Thomas, I believe it. She was a good friend of my deceased aunt now, Mary Mouse. She was my Uncle Matt's wife. She passed away not long ago. It's been a little while. And her good friend, Miss Thomas, cooked food for us, doing her bridal deal. And so we have a lot of people cooking, and the church, we got met at church in Southwest Detroit.
Yes.
Southwest Church of God, right there.
Beautiful church.
On 4th Street.
Beautiful, big church. I mean,
awesome.
It was really the wedding of my dreams. It was what every little girl, when they dream of getting married, that's how my wedding was. My bridal party was awesome. I had no issues. Whatever we requested of them, they did it. You know, as far as getting the clothing, and you know, I mean, it was absolutely amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We had fun.
Truly.
You know, it was great. It was really great.
I mean, the whole deal was awesome. You know, we had a great time. We even some of you, my single sisters and brothers on here, y'all probably won't do this, but we did this. We had a hotel at the Rincing, which is now called the GM Center, and we were like on the 56th, 57th floor, and we literally had our whole entire party.
Our bridal
party up in the hotel. hotel. You know, it was crazy.
Up in our room,
just having a great time,
laughing and
you know, popping some apple cider,
drinking apple cider,
sparkled apple cider. But
to be honest, I think it kind of curbed our nerves because we were nervous.
Yeah,
you know, we were a little nervous. You know, it's like, okay. So, you know, it kind of took the edge.
This is real talk, right, y'all? It's real talk. Real issues. This is what you're going to get anytime you pull up this live. You're going to get real talk, real issues. We were nervous. To the vis.
We were nervous.
Nervous. Because here it is. Okay. You know, we got married early. But, so, guys, once you come up to the hotel, enjoy some hors d'oeuvres, enjoy some, whatever we got, you know.
Yes.
And yeah, about that. And so when everything died down, it was funny because we had all these cards and things. And so, you know, how you have this wishing well. I don't think they can do that anymore. We had the wishing well. So I think bridesmaid got us all that stuff, and best man make sure we had all the stuff and loaded up in the car. And we got up to the room, and everybody left, and then we pulled out all these cards, and people really blessed us, man. We were taking our cards. Yeah. Right. Vanessa kicked them out. Yeah. And we were just, you know, pulling our cards, reading and pulling out money, and we were on our way. See, back then, you know, Niagara Falls was the place to go.
Right.
And so we were planning on, we had booked to go to Niagara Falls, and so that's the place to go. And so we did all of that. And so moving forward, let's move forward because I don't go too far into the wedding part of it. Okay. But I want to help some people here and really, right. And so I have found the one for me. Right. I found the one for me. And she is the one. She's the one. Well, she didn't find me. She's the most. She didn't find me.
I mean, well,
you know, sometimes she has a tendency to jump the gun. Y'all pray for her.
Well, no, I accepted you.
I'm messing with you
because I could have rejected you.
Yeah. Well, she could have gave me. I could
have rejected you, but I accepted you. But
she didn't. So I praise God for that. You know, so it is typically, you know, I don't know what this generation is after now when it comes to relationship in marriage. But generally for us, you know, the American dream is to have good jobs, get married, have kids, and live happily ever after, right? So that's typically the thing. Here's the thing, guys. One, you know, I came into this as a boy, and I said I was going to get to this. The things that I, you know, swallowed my chest to think, thought I knew, I didn't really know. I was selfish, really to a great degree. You know, and sometimes when you're gifted, you tend to something. That's me. I'm just saying. For me, being gifted, knowing music and things like that, and coming up in a pretty decent home with my mom and dad, you know, sometimes I had to, you know, I thought I knew a lot of things. But at the same time, I was immature. I was immature. I was not as sensitive as I am to my wife, not at all. And in fact, I told you a lot of times, even as a kid, I got in trouble for my mouth, you know, even as a kid. And so that tendency and that character carried over oftentimes, or it did, not often, it did carry over into my marriage. So I would be insensitive and not really guarding what I say. So certain things that I thought was okay to say, I realized that it wasn't okay. One thing you'll learn, so I'm talking to my single people here, is one thing you'll learn when you get married, and I trust that many of you will be getting married, as a little single on here. When you get married, you realize, and my married people can amen me and let me know if I'm right or wrong. When you first get into this thing, you are really learning what buttons to push and what not to push. It was a good 5 to maybe 7 years before I figured out how to ride this bike of marriage. Like we were literally on training wheels. I would say certain things, and I thought it was okay, and it would hurt my wife's feelings because I'm used to being single, right? So here's the thing about marriage: the Bible says, "And the two shall become one."
Yes.
Shall become one flesh. We forget. Many of us are mistaken that when we get to the altar, and when they pronounce us by the power that's invested in me, and in the state of Michigan, blah, 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 the year of our Lord, blah, blah, whatever year you get married, I now pronounce you man and wife, and they present you as Mr. and Mrs., whatever your last name is. You have the tendency to think we're now one. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. You are absolutely not. You are still living in the shell. Yeah. SHALL. Everybody write that down. You are still living in the shell. It's a process. Absolutely. It is a process. Yes. And I mean, it was a process. I had to get away. I have to get rid of a lot of selfish things. And if you're going to be in a relationship, you have to put away selfishness. It can't be about you. It can't be about, well, when you married me, you knew I was doing this something. There's a lot of compromise. Yes, Vanessa wrote down shell. We're living in the shell, and so it's a process. It's a journey, and literally, I'm cutting across the grass here. I think before I don't believe I really settled in. Now we've been married for almost 23 years. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've settled in until this is me talking. I don't think I really settled in and say, okay, we can do this. Yeah. Until like year 16, 17. Yeah. Because we had a lot of challenges, right? We've had people look at my wife and myself, and my wife is more believable than me. I can tell you that right now, because I was definitely way more selfish than she would ever be. That's real talk. I have to keep it. We come on the show and we want to make sure we keep it 100. I'm keeping it 100, right?
I was selfish.
Yeah, well, I mean, she had her ways. I mean, she had a ways.
I was selfish and I was mean. Most people wouldn't think. People, you'd be like, not you.
Now she said it. I did not say that.
Not Sister Salah.
I didn't say it.
Yes. I was mean. I was mean. I was selfish and mean.
What's going on, Carl?
How's
the leg doing? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, I was selfish and I was mean. And God had to deal with that part of me. Me being the youngest child, it was all about me. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to really share anything with anybody. Mm-hmm. It was really about me. Mm-hmm. And I was mean. And I was selfish. And that's just real talk. And I was raised by a single mom. And my mom was very independent. She depended on nobody but God, and that was a good thing. But the flip side of it was I never seen her have to depend on a man for anything. So that part of me was really starched, was like, I really don't need you. I really can do this by myself. If I just really wanted to, but because I love God and because I wanted to do things God's way, I allowed God to deal with my heart in that area. Because the last thing as a woman that you want your spouse to feel like he's not needed, or that you don't need him, because you do. You more than you really, 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 truly realize, you do need him. And that's the area that God had to really get down deep inside and deal with me. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter, the age difference. It doesn't matter the status, the job situation. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you are the top evangelist, the prophet, or whoever right. title God has given to you. At the end of the day, what matters the most is that when God gives you a covering, when God gives you that person that he's placed over you, your first ministry and your first obligation is to God and to your spouse. And that's something I had to learn, because I would do things without asking. And people be like, I'm grown. I don't have to get permission from my husband. I'm grown. But then when the Bible talks about you're not your own, I'm not my own, he's not his own. We are accountable to each other. We are submitted to each other.
Exactly.
And that is how a marriage works. We're submitted to each other. We give each other the respect.
Right.
And that's how a marriage should work. Because if I would have remained selfish as I was, oh my goodness, it would have tore the marriage up. Yeah, Jason talked about his selfishness, but my selfishness was rooted. It was so rooted on so many different levels.
I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But listen, she hit on something, and I was getting ready to write it down so I didn't forget. When I didn't know, I feel like you're always a comedian. I didn't know, but the submission piece, right?
Amen.
The submission piece when she said to each other, that is something that I personally had to really, I knew it was truth, but to actually be able to submit now to each other, which is really tending to the needs of each other.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about sex. That's totally, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. So this, that's cut and dry, guys, what that is. But I'm saying, submitting to each other. For instance, I've grown to the point now, I am not less of a husband. I am not less of the man of God who I am, because my wife gets up. Because my wife is, first of all, my wife is a cleaning video holic. She will sit up and watch video. I'm going somewhere. I promise you, I'm going somewhere. She will sit up and watch cleaning videos on her laptop just to get more ideas on what she can do, what to buy naturally to, clean the house.
It's therapeutic too.
Yeah, I can't understand. I mean, it's like hours of just watching cleaning videos.
Relaxing.
But she's a cleaning person. I'm not super like junkie like guy, but I'm not like, she has like a problem, like for real. She just and so for instance, fellas, if my wife says to me, Jason, you need to pick your bed up and hang it up. Now, to some people, that may be offensive because you have not grown into understanding the heart of your spouse, right? Now, when I first got married as a boy, I would have said, "Who are you talking to?" You could have asked me, Jason, can you pick up? No, you don't say, Jason, you need to pick up your bell and hang it up in the spot. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between coming in as, wet behind the ears into marriage and then maturing as a husband, submitting to each other's needs. When we understand, when I dwell, Bible says, dwell with her according to knowledge. There are some things that I have to understand because now I know about her. And so even though I may goof up and, take my belt off and put it in some random place, when she says, hey, Jason, you need to pick your belt up and hang it, it doesn't bother me. To me, it's not dishonorable. It's not disrespectful. Why? because I know her heart's intent. Now, you know, when you get in your flesh and you're not, you know, you might get offended. And you just having a flesh type day. I mean, and that's you know, I think attribute that to a lot of times just not being in the presence of God, and you just having one of those days and you just, now she said before it didn't bother you, but because you're in your flesh, now all of a sudden it's bothering you.
But then also, just to add to that is, as women, we have to be careful how we say it too, because you know how we request things or how we ask, you know, our husbands to do things, because there were times where I might not have said it so nicely, or I was irritated. Just say, you know, you had them times when you've been cleaning up, you know, you just irritated because you have to keep cleaning up. You're doing this and you're doing that. And me, I just like stuff in order. I just like to keep stuff in order if I can. You know, I function better that way. When stuff just all over the place and it's crazy.
Right.
It's irritating. So there has been times where, you know, I needed him to pick up something or put something up, but I said it in the wrong manner where, you know, it irritated him. So of course his response would be like, look, I'm your husband, you know, I'm your husband, not your son. You know, I need you to address me better. And I'm a big enough woman to accept and realize that, you know, we have to be careful how we treat one another and how we talk to one another. You know, I look at in church, you know, we say, God bless you, brother, so and so, or God bless you, sister, so and so, you know, and we show so much respect to, you know, our brothers and sisters in Christ. But then Jason is my husband, but he's my husband, but he's still my brother in Christ. Right. He's still my brother in Christ.
Right.
So, you know, and I'm his wife, but I'm still his sister in Christ as well, too. You know, so.
No, you ain't my sister. No. I just caught that. I think I fell asleep for like 30 seconds. She is not.
No, you know what I'm trying to say.
No. But let's get that straight right now. Y'all pray.
But no, look.
Stretch your hands. Because no, this is.
But no, look, but my point is, what I'm saying is, you know, no one should be treated better than, we shouldn't treat anybody better than a husband and wife treat each other. No one should be treated more better, know,
I hear you,
than we treat each other. You
True.
Know,
right.
I just think that's so important.
Right.
You know, that we know how to talk to each other. We know how to communicate to each other. You know, nobody else should get that much respect than we give it to each other. Right.
And I was like, watch this, guys. That like, she just hit something. Like, that was when you getting the real us. Like, we were not hiding anything. Like, that was one of my issues. My wife, almost every other time, she would have to, you know, and my wife would never want to do anything on a public level when she was trying to share with me her disdain on something I may have said or did, right? She always, the biggest thing was always knowing how to talk to her. I had a problem, and and I had to come to grips like, dude, I really do have a problem. I mean, I can't seem to, can't get right, you know, for a while, where I loved her, but I didn't know how to truly honor her as the gift and the favor that I actually found, right? Didn't realize her value. I mean, I loved her, and I always felt that she was a gift and value, but I really didn't know, like, the true value of what I had. And so for many of our years starting out, I had an issue of, you know, not saying the right things, treating her like the queen, the gift, the favor that she really is. And it was many years. Now, mind you, we're almost 23 years in to marriage. As of June this year, it'll be 23 years.
Yes.
And it was many years before I started to get that piece together with me. Just, you know, And I'm trying to help people. And because here at the end of the day, watch this, men, at the end of the day, we don't realize it but we're going to stand before God, and God is going to ask us as men, what did you do with the gift I gave you? Not your talent. That's one issue. But I'm talking about the gift and the favor that God gave us. We're supposed to be stewards over. And I didn't say control, lord over, I'm saying treat her as the gift and favor and honorable as she is being the helpmeet. That she is not, watch this, she is not a second-class citizen. Now that's going to that's just what it is. I remember going to a church, and I literally had to say that from the pulpit because I felt this spirit that was hovering over this particular church that I was preaching at, and the Holy Spirit say it, and I began to honor the women that were there, and I made the statement. I said, women of God, men of God, these women here are not second-class citizens. We need to honor them because there's a whole lot of favor in the room, whether it be married or unmarried. There's a man looking for you, single woman, and you are his favor. Mm-hmm. All right. And then there are married women that were in there that's already somebody's favorite. So we have to treat them, our wives, as the favor that we have obtained. Because I can tell you right now, there are many things I can look back and point to where if I did not connect with my wife, and if she did not connect with me, there are a lot of things that I would not have accomplished without that favor. And so I'm grateful God knows or knew exactly who I needed in my life. And so, just being honorable. And I would say some things that I didn't think was a bad thing, but I hadn't learned that certain things are dishonorable, and you don't say that. You don't say it in that tone, right? Even tone sometimes is not, about, and you heard this before, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
And then I just want to add, a lot of times, most of the time, when couples before they get married or when they're in the marriage, we bring what we've seen into our marriage.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We bring what we've seen into our marriage. Mm-hmm. So if we come from dysfunctional families and backgrounds,
and there's some dysfunction everywhere.
And there's some dysfunction everywhere, somewhere. Mm-hmm. Everywhere, somewhere. Mm-hmm. We will bring it into our marriage.
Yeah.
And then it's like, God gotta tear that thing, break that thing down. Mm-hmm. What you've seen and how you thought you should be as a wife or as a husband. Mm-hmm. It's like you got to get to know your spouse. The person, and I'll honestly say, when me and Jason was dating, there was things that I got to know about him, but I didn't get to know the real until after we got married. Right. I didn't get to know the real
stuff
until after we got married.
Yeah.
It was like I had to really study and learn this man to see who he really was.
It's amazing how the mask come off.
And
yeah.
I really don't think I was totally prepared, for this man that I said I do to. And God had to grow me up and mature me in some areas. Because remind y'all, when we first got married, Jason wasn't a minister. He wasn't none of that. We were just two young adult people that just love God, love each other. But there was destiny. in our lives and purpose that we had to fulfill. And we needed each other to fulfill those purposes.
Yeah.
And so God had to prepare me to help him become and be what God has called him to. And God had to prepare him to help me.
Yeah.
You know, so we had to lay down our own thoughts and ideas of how we felt marriage should, is, or how we thought it should go. And we had to really get before God and say, Lord, we want to do this thing your way.
Yeah.
And what you're saying. We had to erase all of it. You would be so surprised, especially, in church. And I say in church because we were raised in church.
Right.
The things that, people had told us, and, and the do's and the don'ts, and, when it comes to marriage. Some of it was good and some of it was questionable.
And hitting and missing.
And so,
to be honest with you, in a lot of ways, we don't want to be honest with that. But a lot of times, we get stuff kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
And we don't cover sometimes because a lot of times things are very taboo.
Yeah.
In the church, and we don't discuss certain things. But go ahead, honey. I don't let you lose your thought. Go ahead.
Right. So yeah, sometimes we have a fairy tale ideal of marriage, and that's what really throws people off. And at the beginning of their marriage, they're thinking fairy tale. They're thinking, oh, it's the honeymoon, and
hey, Jared.
And then it's everything falls in place after. When I tell you everything about our marriage was never the typical anything. It's like God took us through some courses and some trainings and some things to prepare us for the purpose and the callings and the destinies upon our lives that God has graced us to walk in now. Back then God was preparing us for it. And it was not easy. It was not easy. And it was the grace of God that that kept us together.
Yeah. We had struggles, guys. I mean, we stayed when we first got married, we stayed in an apartment. So when is the single to married class? We'll be getting to that pretty soon, actually. We'll have something. We'll be dealing with that pretty soon.
Yeah.
We stayed in an apartment. We had our struggles as a young couple, right? We stayed on the east side, and I can tell you exactly where we stayed, guys. I don't know if you know where Outer Drive and State Fair connects, and there's a Randall's right there. There's an apartment complex where I was 21 years old. I got married when I was 21. She was 23.
Yes.
And we stayed in an apartment, and it was some apartments in the back area, and we stayed there for a while, and it wasn't fun,
No.
Now my wife, she was already a cleaner person, but she literally bleached everything because it was just not pretty. I mean, you had stuff moving that shouldn't be moving. This is real stuff, guys. I mean, this real struggles that we had. Love make you do some crazy things. Even moving to the east side in the apartment complex. But I mean, I was able to afford it. I had a job. I forget what I was working then, but our favorite pastime, right, the projects.
Pretty much. It was real close to the projects.
The projects.
Because when I tell you, we would hear all kinds of stuff. We would hear all kinds.
No, you don't have to just kid, Vanessa. This is real talk.
Yeah, this is real talk.
And we would come home and stuff be greeting us on the way in. I mean, this is stuff that we actually went through. As a married couple, and just trying to make it because we loved each other. And so
that's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah,
we loved each other. So
Brittany, not the east side.
The east side, Brittany. Yes.
Yeah.
But we loved each other, and I think that's what really brought us through a lot of it because we really loved each other.
Yeah.
And when you love each other, you can get through some hard stuff when you truly love each other.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, I used to say something. I used to tell my husband this all the time when we first got married. I know he looked at me like, What you talking about? Y'all know that show Different Strokes?
Oh,
and the little boys,
Willis. Not Willis,
like,
but not Willis, but Willis was the guy who was Gary Coleman, but I can't think of his character.
He'd be like, what you talking about, Willis?
Right.
What you talking about, Willis?
Right.
I know Jason probably used to look at me and be like, what you talking about, Sly?
Right.
But I would tell him, I would say, I love you, but I love God more.
Yeah. You always say that.
I said, I love you, but I love God more.
Mm.
And the thing that God, the Holy Spirit revealed to me is I cannot love him more than I love God, because it's my love for God that's going to keep me doing and loving him the way I'm supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of my love for God.
Mm-hmm.
And early on in marriage, for me, I ran across, when you're so in love and everything is new and everything
mm-hmm.
is fresh,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes your focus can kind of get a little bit
mm-hmm.
off
mm-hmm.
of where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And the thing that I learned early on in marriage is that the voids, God is the only one that can fill your void.
Yeah.
Your spouse is not supposed to fill a void.
Mm-hmm.
He can't.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. Your spouse cannot fill your void.
Mm-hmm.
There were many times, in our relationship where, I'd be like, Lord, what is wrong? I'm married. I love my husband, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But God is like, but I'm the source of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over everything,
mm-hmm.
And he's a jealous God.
Yeah.
You can't put nobody before him, even your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
He has to always have that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Always have that part of you. And he can only feel those parts, and that's so important, women.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important, in dating, never let your focus get so wrapped up in that person that you're dating until your eyes is off of God.
Yeah.
Don't allow that to happen.
But let me help it. And this goes to all of my single sisters and men. You really won't know how. You may have heard before, but we will revive it in your mind even now, by way of remembrance. Is that you really can't learn how to love anybody in a relationship until you love the God of relationship.
Yes.
He is the originator of relationship. He has always designed. He has created us to worship and have a relationship, right, with him.
Yes.
I don't really truly know how to love my wife until I learn how to love God, who teaches me as a father to a son how to, right? Same thing with my single sisters. You cannot love your husband or soon to be or anybody that you will marry. You cannot love them without first loving God. And so what I would encourage all of our singles is to listen while you're waiting, ladies, while you're waiting, and brothers, while you're searching, continue to seek brothers God, right? Continue to seek God, seek his face, not his hand. All the other stuff will be added.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what God is going to add to you if you do what he asked you to do. That stuff will just become it comes as a byproduct of obedience. Okay, my sisters, while you're waiting, seek God, how to be the woman of God, how to be the handmaiden of God that will serve God, right? And then so when he comes and he finds you, he will find you already shining up. I didn't say perfect, but recognized as a jewel. When he sees the glory of God on your life, one of two things will happen. The man comes, either he's going to be drawn to it or repelled from it. Two things: drawn to it or repelled from it, because the enemy or darkness will not be able to stay with you. Okay, because you should be so solid enough in your relationship with God that you're not willing, watch this, to settle for counterfeit. You're not desperate. You're not, I can't wait. No, because your relationship is so locked into God to the point to where listen. It's kind of like my granddad told my uncle who was coming to get one of his daughters, listen, if you can't take care of her, don't take her out of my house. And so because we have a relationship, father to daughter, we have a relationship. So my daughter will be just fine. If you leave her in the house, she's gonna be taken care of. And so that's the attitude that you have to have, young ladies, is that, you know, we're not desperate, you know. And I think that still applies to men, is that we're, you know, we have to know what we're looking for, who we're looking for, not what, but who. Yeah. You know, who we're looking for. And so that comes with relationship and with God and understanding and having discernment what fits. And watch this. And most people, there's a false pretense out here where people are saying, I know I'm kind of bouncing here, but people say, well, if you save and they save, then we should be able to get married. No, that's not true. And I don't know where people got that from, just because we both know God, and all of a sudden that we're compatible. That is not the case, because there's a grace that's on your spousal life, whether you're male or female. There's a grace on the opposite sex, by the way, that there's a grace that will help enhance each other. If you got two completely unfitting, nothing, the puzzle can't come together. You know, in other words, long story short, everybody can't come together just because we're saved or filled with God's Spirit. Let's just not. We need to put that ungodly belief away. That is not the truth. Okay, but we were compatible to each other. Now, again, not perfect. I came in selfish as a boy, immature, 5, 6, 7 years before I really started understanding how immature I was, and then I really didn't settle in until really saying, "Wow, we are in this." You know, from death do us part. Even though I said it, I really felt it. I didn't really feel it until, you know, year 15 or 16. Listen, I want to stop right here, and I want to open up for questions. I know we've been on here for a while, but please, this is our first. Yeah, we've been on here for quite a while, but I want to make sure that if there are any questions, we are watching the screens now. First Lady Livingston, Christopher Williams, hey, Janina Mooney, hey, how's the baby and the husband? Hey. Craig Ruffin can say hello to Keisha for us. And for all of you who are on here, I see you. Edwards, I see you on here. For those of you, I've addressed some of you already. If you have any questions for us, please throw them at us for the next few minutes or so. We'll try to answer questions. By the way, it is our plan to be on here every. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
It's our plan to be on here every Monday night right now. All right, Monday nights, and we want to kind of jump on here. Let's see, about 9.
Yeah, from 9 to 10.
Yeah, like we were going to try to average about an hour, but we kind of left it today because we're trying to work all the kinks and whatever, how we set things together. But you know, if you guys demand it, we'll hang on for a while. But we want to from 9 o'clock, from 9 Eastern Standard Time, Mondays at 9 to 10. So if anybody have any questions, statements, whatever comments, or please let us know. I do not know if I have this feature on here, or it wouldn't be on my laptop though. I don't think where I can invite people on, but please, if you have a question, I'm looking now. Let me know if not, if you have any questions, let me know if you enjoyed this, the broadcast or not. Let us know. And please, if you have any questions that you may not want to, watch this. If you have any questions that you may not want to put on this broadcast, but you want to send it by way of email, I will let you know where to do that in just a second. And in fact, let me see if I can find where is my there is, yeah. I'm going to let you know where you can put that at, right? What that is. No questions. Very much. Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. And I'm I'm putting an email right now on here so you guys can go. It's JAY and AND LA live.
Thanks, Brittany.
At gmail.com. And I'm going to enter that now. And she says, yes, enjoy every bit. It was very helpful with me being single mom. Salah, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So, right. So welcome. Absolutely wonderful. So, jlive@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, we're going to share some other things deeper into our lives. Singles, married, whoever you are, whatever questions you may have for us, dealing with relationship, being single or married, certainly ask questions and inbox them at jlive@gmail.com. Any statements, comments, or whatever, any critiques or whatever, we will take up. We will
definitely, because this is something new for us.
Yeah,
I love doing ministry with my husband. I think that he is.
Hey, Regina.
He's just a phenomenal man, and it's an honor to do ministry with him. It truly is. He has helped me come out of my shells in a lot of areas because I'm shy by nature.
Right.
I'm shy by nature, so I'm one to kind of sit back and I'm going to observe and I'm going to watch. And that's just my personality, but I'm a very friendly person. But I thank God for, we're opposite, but the same. He's more outgoing and he has helped me, become, he's helping me. He's helping me. So
and she's come a long way.
I thank you for that, honey.
You're so welcome. I mean, really, that was really a journey for us too, because I was always the outgoing person. I don't meet a stranger. I can meet somebody and literally in a second and have a conversation. And generally, I always try to find out some commonalities between
Regina.
myself and the person that we're conversing with. And so, because I like to show myself friendly. Not that my wife is not friendly, it's that, but she's always been a homebody. She stayed with her mom, and my wife she learned how to cook with her mom, and her mom was an amazing cook. So she's brought those skills over this way to praise the Lord. And so, but she has done that, and then she just such a loving person, a phenomenal wife. She's the only wife I've ever had, and I plan on being that way. Amen. And forever, until Jesus returns and come. We're in this for the long haul. And I pray that the Lord delays is coming, that we will double that. And from 23 to 46, if the Lord is coming, I tell you, things are so scary. Not scary, but they're pointing to the end of time. Really is. Yeah. And look, we will be leaving this post up. Thank you, Vanessa, for that encouragement.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely be leaving it up for you guys, for those who are watching back there replay. But getting my wife to be more sociable, was a deal, because she's very shy. And then, but sometimes, but even the enemy at times tried to get in there because I'm such a I won't say I'm a magnet, but I am a magnet for conversation. Yes. And sometimes, because you're a sociable person, watch this. Sometimes you end up drawing some ungodly stuff because you're so sociable. And sometimes this is why you need your spouse, guys and gals, because sometimes your spouse can see what you don't see. That's why, brothers, it's not good for men. One of the many reasons why it's not good for men to be alone, because sometimes we'll go into something. Me personally, I'll just use my example. I'm very sociable, and so because I'm such a happy-go-lucky, I want people to be happy just because they're standing there in our presence. I want to make them happy, but at the same time, because I'm in my attempt to make them happy, sometimes I don't discern the deeper thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times when my wife would say, okay, blah, 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 but did you see blah, 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 blah. And sometimes, watch this, early in our marriage, I would get offended, like, you trying to act like I'm stupid? No, it's not that. It's just that I didn't see, because my focus was to be sociable. My focus wasn't to discern that it was a devil standing in front of me. That had intentions down the line that were ungodly. Mm-hmm. And so I had to literally, I mean, I would be, and I had to really grow into it. And then really, as my relationship with God became closer, I would literally hear the Holy Spirit now in my recent years of marriage, and probably within the last 10 years, maybe a little less, I would hear the Holy Spirit. My wife would say something, and my flesh initially want to say, because we have to understand, there's always a war in our members, guys. There's always a battle between the flesh and the spirit. Mm-hmm. But my wife would say something to me, and I would hear God, the Holy Spirit, say this: listen to her. This is me. That's the favor of God. I would literally hear the Holy Spirit say, listen to her. This is me. In other words, I'm using her. I have prompted her spirit. She has me in her to tell you what you need to know. Doesn't mean that she's trying to run the show, that she's wearing the pants. By the way, she has on some very nice pants. But anyway, that has nothing to do. What the whole point is that the submission, that goes back to submission to one another piece. Mm-hmm. That there's each party in the relationship has something of value. Mm-hmm. We must continue to understand that, that there is value in each party, and it's going to help us get to the goal, the destiny and purpose, mm-hmm. all right, which God had intended for us to get to as a couple, all right? Mm-hmm. Even to the point, watch this, even of individual goals. It is my duty, right? And I'm going to close this in just a second. And we're going to close this out. It is my duty to make sure that I enhance and support, both financially, through prayer, or whatever it is, to roll up my sleeves, to make sure that whatever her visions are, whether it's a ministry, my wife has a phenomenal ministry right now called ICU for Women. It's called Intentionally Created Unique. I spend time in supporting that because it is of God. So we spend time in doing that. That's my job. At the same time, I have endeavors and visions as well. And she compartmentalizes and disciplines herself to, put some things to the side, not put it away, but compartmentalize her time to support me in the vision that we have, and we work it together for one common goal, that we'll see both of each other. We're happy and we're corporately blessed because we're walking in obedience. In maybe individual visions per se, but we bring them together, mm-hmm. To bless a bigger body of people. Yes. And so that's what's end up happening, and we can see it as it's evolving right now. That we're blessing a bigger body of people through the things that God has given us to do. So we're almost, believe it or not, we're way over time. And we thank you all. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you go to Jay and Lala, JayandLalive, all one word, at gmail.com. I'll type it again, Jay and live at gmail.com. All right. And you guys, certainly thank you all for coming on and listening. Again, singles, if you have questions, drop some questions in about single relationship or singleness. Mm-hmm. Married people, both male and female, please drop that in there in our email. If you have any questions about relationship, mm-hmm. if you have any questions about our lives personally, if you want to know something about my wife or me, Jay. And so I sound like a caveman, right? You lie, me, Jay. So, but anyway, so listen, we love you guys. Pray for us. We'll see you guys. Oh, for sure. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, next time we see you guys will be Monday night. We're going to go a little deeper into some things. We're going to talk about some things, even about kids in the marriage. All right. We want to talk about that. Some deep stuff. So guys, make sure you let people know, spread the word. share this video even after the replay. Go ahead and share it. Tag people. Say, hey, you need to make sure you're on the show Monday night at 9 p.m. We will be here, Lord willing. If any changes happen, we will definitely let you know. But the Lord, it is our strong plan to be to come on here again live with you guys. Eventually, we'll also be going to YouTube live here pretty soon. We want to make sure that we do fulfill everything that I believe God has given us to do on this particular live. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, go to jnlive@gmail.com. I'm going to concede. My wife had something she wanted to share, and then we're going to get out of here. All right.
I just want to encourage you all, when we're doing the live video, that if your spouse is available to watch it with you,
please,
please invite them to watch it, so y'all can watch it together.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there are questions that the wife may have or the husband may have,
mm-hmm.
That prayerfully, we can be of help or assistance
mm-hmm.
In that, because our whole purpose is to just to be able to share with you all and with the experiences, that God has allowed us to have, that it will help your life, it will help your relationship, in some kind of way that we will be a blessing to your life, because that is the sole purpose. Sometimes we wonder, like, God, why did you have to take us down this journey?
Yeah.
Why did our lives have to take this turn, God? But it's not for us. The things that we go through, it's not for us. It's for someone else.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important that we share the things that we've gone through. We share our struggles. We share our testimonies. And we become transparent.
Thanks, Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa.
Because we didn't have a couple that was transparent, with us, that would talk to us and be like, let me tell y'all the real.
Right.
We didn't have that. So a lot of the things that we went through, it was trial and error for us. We didn't even have counseling.
No, we had no counseling
before we got married. So everything was just like, we had to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
So we make ourselves available to you all. So you won't have to feel like I have no support, I have no help, I have nobody. Just know that Jay and Lai, we extend ourselves to you all. And we love you all. We truly do. This is good, and I'm so glad that that God chose us to come before you all. This is a blessing to us. To be able to share together.
Right.
It's a blessing to us, and we're honored. We're truly, truly, truly honored. And the last thing that I would like to say is the ones that are married, maybe have just gotten married, maybe been married for a year or a couple of years or 5 years or however, newly into the marriage. Don't quit so quickly and so soon. Don't give up on each other so soon and so quickly, because you're still developing as a person. Right. You're still developing individually. God is still developing you individually so that you can come together as one. You got to know who you are individually first, and then when you come together, it'll work harmoniously. You know who you are, so don't give up. Help each other to develop. Help each other, and I can honestly say, being married as long as I have, my prayer life has grown, my prayer life has matured.
Amen.
Because there were times when I just needed to be quiet. Me saying what I felt I needed to say all the time wasn't necessary. And what God needed me to do was go into my prayer closet. He needed me to pray, and he needed me to talk to God. And I saw more results that way than I did with me, talking all the time. So I just encourage you women, to to really talk to God. You know, you have things you want to see change and work out better in your marriage, and you personally talk to God.
Yeah.
You know, build that relationship with God, because He can work it out better, far better than we can. And I've seen some awesome results of what prayer can do.
Yeah, and really, and I don't want to drag this on too much longer, but she had got to a point where she got tired of necessarily talking, and she went more praying, and God would deal with me on certain things and taught me some things and deal with some things, because watch this, her daughter went to her daddy on me, and our pastor, Pastor Eric Howard, and Lady Howard, they did do a teaching on that, and how God the Father loves His daughters. It's something about daughters, you know, because he, the father, just like any daddy to a daughter, he loves his girls.
Oh yeah.
And so men, you know, we got to get up and dust ourselves off and get the rust off our knees and get up and keep going, because we're men. God is trying to raise men, but He cares. Not that He doesn't care about His sons, but He showed enough, I believe, love His daughters. And that's a running joke in our relationship, because I always tell my wife, I said, man, as soon as you ask God for something, He just do it for you. And it's, look, I got to jump through hoops, and I'll end up getting it, but my wife gets it like instantaneously. That's because I believe there's a special relationship that God has with, you know. No, I'm just saying, that's just me. I'm just talking.
But I'm your favor.
Well, that's it. See, she just hit it. Revelation. You know, she is my favor, and so there are some things that we're built. Our shoulders are built, men, to work and to plow through. Not the women. I'm gonna help somebody a little later on, but I'm not gonna drag this on. But our men, we are built. Our shoulders are built to plow through. You need to strive, men of single men. You need to strive to eventually. Don't tell me about the times. I'm not saying if you're in a relationship and the man and the woman, you guys are both working, God bless you. But I'm talking to the single men, and nothing wrong with both working if that's what it takes, right? But eventually, I'll just speak for me, that I love being able to provide for this woman, because she can focus on the things that God has called her to do in ministry and helping, and she has tremendous missions and ministry of compassion that she flows in right now, and it's kingdom stuff, and I love it, and I love to be able to support that. And so anyway, enough of that. I'm going to let this go for now, but check us. Everybody type in Monday night at 9 p.m. Go, so make sure you hear us, and we're going to close the show out here, and we love you guys, and this is JN Live, and we thank you for joining our first show of JN Live, and we just like to say this as we leave out: nothing missing, nothing lacking, and wanting for nothing. God bless you all. We'll see you next time on JN Live. Y'all be blessed. Love you. Take care.